speed.
Know Your Moves started in January of this year, or I guess last year, but it's crazy to me because now it's become a staple of my channel, a series people anticipate, a project I can fill with my own passion, and something I hold dear to my heart. With 10 of these under our belt, I think it's pretty fitting to call this the season finale. But in the spirit of New Year's, we're going to be taking a look back at all of them and uncovering 50 things I messed up on. Let's start with Ganondorf.
I can put my leg behind my head. See?
He was the first baby I didn't know your moves on. And the quality shift between now and then is, God, like, what were your choices like, man? What was all this purple? Ew! Ew! But there are a few things I did overlook. And thanks to FrostWraith, a writer on Source Gaming, he filled the gaps I couldn't fill in Ganondorf's Know Your Moves by making a post on his history and to see if his moveset is valid, so I recommend you check it out. It's going to be in the link in the description. Number 1. I know myself and a bajillion other people rant on and on about Ganondorf not having a sword in Smash, but he does in fact have one, in a custom neutral B. 2! Actually, his sword from Melee was inspired from the Space World demo of Zelda, where they showed Ganondorf and Link fighting, and it was like, oh, the GameCube's gonna be sick and have a cool Zelda, but it turned out to disappoint people because it became Wind Waker. Yeah. 3. Ganondorf's whole model was actually taken from this demo, and maybe the reason he made it into Melee. 4. This year, Source Gaming, no surprise, they're freaking amazing. They discovered that Ganondorf almost didn't make it into Melee. In fact, he's actually the last character that was added to the game, as we can see from the game files. 5. Ganondorf got in because of his easy implementation. See, when you have Captain Falcon's animations and movements with the Space World model, it was easy to just stick him in there like... Also, Ganondorf was very popular on the polls, so Sakurai added him to meet fans' demands. 6. Even still, he gained more canon traits than I first thought. First, his forward air. It kinda represents this iconic picture of Ganondorf vs. Link in Ocarina of Time. I actually used to have it hanging on my wall, so I don't know how I didn't take that in. 7. His taunt sorta looks alike to his Ocarina of Time cutscene. That I put in the video, how about them apples? 8. And his winning animations. They have an emphasis on his fists being up. An iconic trait of Ganondorf in the games where he holds up his Triforce of Power. 9. But what other moves did he have? Well, in Brawl, his jab could be argued to be taken from the jab he does in Twilight Princess, except with his sword. 10. And when he uses items in Brawl and Smash 4, they replicate how he used his sword in Twilight Princess. 11. His portal for when he enters battle is reminiscent of the portals we see in battles in the past, such as Twilight Princess or even Ocarina of Time. 12. And here's one everyone got me for. His Flame Choke. It was from Twilight Princess where he attacks the sage. In that cutscene, I showed as he was talking. I don't know how I didn't pick it up. I just felt like there weren't enough similarities, but I guess the verdict is in, and that might be where they got it from. Also, his aerial flame choke looks very similar to this aerial smash that he does in Ocarina of Time. 13. So, even after all this, do I still agree that his moveset needs an overhaul? You betcha! Bring on the magical magic warlock who handles his problems with his fists. 14. Yes, I have seen Project Ganondorf, and it looks goddamn amazing. So if you want a canonical Ganondorf, go check that out. Just do it. Do yourself a favor and check it. 15. Okay, this isn't really another new point, but can we have a tally for how many times I've ripped on Ganondorf and Know Your Moves? He doesn't look menacing, he looks like a mid-aged housewife who's Ganondorf. I'm looking at you, Ganon. Ganondorf my whole life. Ganondorf and Ganondorf's whole moveset did the entire Zelda series. Next, we have Wario. And honestly, I still hold this one to be my favorite of the Know Your Moves. However, with that said, there were a few things I may have overlooked that you guys helped me realize. 16. I forgot to mention the Wario Chopper because it's in WarioWare's opening and I do show it, but I just don't mention it. 17. Now, that inhaling mouth from Wario World, yeah, that one, though it probably inspired the bite, it's more reminiscent in one of Wario's customs, where he actually inhales opponents. 18. I may have miscommunicated this one, but Wario doesn't have better aerial mobility than Jiggs. Rather, he has better aerial acceleration, so he can zip around like you see him do. 19. If you ever need to break the ice on a first date, just pretend you're Wario. But that's it for Wario. Let's go into Pac-Man. Oh, wait, I didn't really get anything wrong on this one, so, Number 20.
What? It's just a fire hydrant.
Oh my goodness!
As you know, Trailer Drake did his own Smash history on that sweet, sweet Peachy booty. And he made a few discoveries about the potential origins of her moveset. 21. Peach's Parasol looks a lot like the one from Paper Mario from Brawl onwards. 22. The pan, though making use in Super Mario RPG, could also be from the remake of the Chef minigame in Game & Watch, or from the Mario Kart GX arcade game in Japan where she has a pan in her hand. I don't know, man. But this was all found by Trailer Drake. I couldn't have found that. 23. So a lot of people were badgering me about, oh, Pauline isn't Peach-a-lax, come on, you idiot. And yes, I know, don't worry. I know that Pauline and Peach aren't the same character, though maybe one was inspired by the other. What I was trying to get across were the traditional roles that video games fall into with a hero, a damsel in distress, and a villain. 24. The ribbon Peach uses in her up smash could be taken from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. 25. Peach utilizes magic in games as early as Mario 1. Even so, in many games such as Paper Mario, Mario RPG, and even the Mario Sports series, Peach is often using heart magic to attack foes in different ways, which probably explains the hearts that appear. 26. Her booty attacks could quite well be taken from the fact that Peaches look like... Now let's get on to Jigglypuff. 27. Jigglypuff is actually very popular in Japan. Many say that this is the reason she was added to Smash 64 in the first place, as in Japan, she meets the popularity of Pikachu. But sometimes I think it's circular reasoning. Was it her popularity in Smash that made her popular in Japan? Or was it her popularity in Japan that got her into Smash? I think it's the latter. 28. She dies when her shield breaks. Many think of this as an Easter egg to Jigglypuff being a balloon Pokemon. 29. And her pound isn't actually useless. It can break shields, ironically. 30. Jigglypuff was a joke character in Smash 64, most likely because she was easy to implement in because she had the same framework as Kirby. However, in Melee she was given more attention to be a serious character with actual fighting abilities. 31. She was almost cut out of Brawl like many of the other Melee clones, but she did make it back in due to some extra time, alongside Wolf and Toon Link. Next we got Little Mac. For a character where everyone thought his moves were just punches, it was actually one of my most successful Know Your Moves. Probably because it was one of my most creative and heavily researched videos in the whole series. But with popularity comes a lot of flack. 32. Apparently people didn't like the title of the video, because I flat out claim why Little Mac sucks. And while we could get into metadata and Google algorithms, Little Mac objectively is a bad character. That doesn't mean you can't be good with him, just, it's gonna feel way more unfair, it's gonna take way longer when you have characters like Sheik or Rosalina or Sonic that can do what you can do 10 times easier. 33. The Little Mac amiibo is A-okay, no worries. I use him in Mario Maker and Yoshi's Woolly World. 34. The boxing ring makes reference to his origins as the Bruiser from the Bronx. Didn't really mention that. 35. Now I know I didn't make mention of the KO punch, so what gives? What's the explanation for that? Maybe adrenaline. As you fight for longer and longer, hit your opponent more, you get more adrenaline. Then there comes a point where you have to unleash it in one swift movement. I mean, if you hit with it, it was a good risk, but if you don't, you're gonna be out of energy and losing your trump card. It only took a month later for me to tackle Diddy Kong, and trust me, I don't hate him for show. I've hated Diddy Kong for years. Mario Strikers, Mario Golf, Brawl, Smash 4, this guy, no matter where he is, he's annoying, ugh. Anyways, there wasn't too much wrong with this video, except 36. First and foremost, Diddy Kong isn't a chimp, he's a spider monkey. We can make this distinction through a few things he does, such as using his tail to handle most of his body weight, as well as using it in battle. 37. The Miyamoto quote was actually not true. Turns out Miyamoto never said such a thing, and he actually does respect the franchise. 38. This shit is bananas is not from attacking toucans.
This shit is bananas. B-Q-L-U-F-E-T.
It's from Gwen Stefani. Guys, please, come on. This shit is bananas. B-N-N-A-N-A-S. A few times I've been around that track. No? None of you? You all too young for that? Come on. 39. The Diddy Kong amiibo was in fact burnt to a crisp. I still have them. It makes my morning coffee taste a whole lot better. Now on to Sonic. This was actually super fun to do. The recording for this actually killed my voice, but it was so worth it in the end. There are a couple things I sped past. 40. His homing attack was sort of in Sonic 3D Blast. You want to know how I was informed of that? Through a YouTube poop.
This was added in the first 3D Sonic game, Sonic Adventure.
41. Side B and down B actually have more differences that I didn't get into. Down B is like the classic 2D spin dash, while side B is like the 3D one where it charges automatically. Also, side B is a one-hit launcher while down B is a multi-hit move with little knockback. 42. Some other stuff comes from Sonic the Fighters that I may have missed, such as his jab combo, a punch-punch kick, and his emerald dive that looks like his forward air. 43. Apparently his down air comes from Sonic Battle as well. However, if you want a game loaded with Sonic Battle moves, go play Project M Sonic. 44. And finally, his ledge teeter and crouch have been the same since Sonic 1. Now we're getting into the recent episodes. Olimar I feel is one of my least popular episodes, but for me it's a jump in quality of the whole series. 45. Red Pikmin do 1.2 damage in Smash, so their damage isn't the most average, like I said. What I was trying to communicate was they have the most normalized damage and hitboxes across all their moves. Yellows have larger hitboxes and throw height, whites are weaker in attacks but strong in Pikmin toss, purple have strong attacks but short distances, and blues are normal across all attacks except grabs. Across all these things, reds are pretty standard, though they have larger damage output. 46. In Brawl, they have a 6 Pikmin limit. This was probably changed to 3 Pikmin because of the limitations of the 3DS, and so it would be easier to keep track of your Pikmin. And last but not least, the most recent Know Your Moves. Even though it just came out, I retrospectively came across a few things in editing that I could have mentioned. 47. The polar bear actually jumps in Summit like he does an ice climber. The iceberg falls into the water because the guy jumps up. It's a little detail you probably missed, but it stays really true to the ice climber game. 48. Their victory theme was taken from winning a bonus game in Ice Climber. 49. I had a theory that their voices may have been inspired by that weird jumping noise that they do in Ice Climber. Did anyone else think their jumping noise was their voice in Melee? I don't know, it could just be me. And finally, eggplants are fruits, not vegetables. No kidding, because all of them there are vegetables except the eggplant. Whoopsie daisy. And just like that, here's our year of Know Your Moves. Thank you all for such a fulfilling year of the series, making it not only my favorite series to produce, but becoming your favorite to watch. Though it can be stressful at times, seeing all of you enjoy something I put my heart and soul into makes every little bit of it worth it. So, which Know Your Moves this year did you like the most? A good reason they became the way they are is because I listen to what you guys say, and if you like something or don't like something, I take that into consideration. So, this whole adventure couldn't have been done without you. Thank you all for an amazing year. I keep rambling on and on about this, but thanks a lot. The next Know Your Moves, I think you're going to love, because it's not only going to be the first one of this new year, it's going to have a lot of stuff that I have not done before. It's going to be amazingly analytical, have a few surprises, and it's going to be pretty hype. So, take it easy, everybody. I will see you on the flip side.